Hello people, welcome, and my name is Dave Perez, and here today I'm going to be reviewing The Invitation. So The Invitation is the same director who did Girl Fight, Jennifer's Body, which is actually her very last movie that she did back in 2009, and Aeon Flux. She's basically, on the horror route for the next couple, movies now. She's gonna be directing another horror anthology film with a bunch of other female directors, and she's basically on the right track with this one. So this movie is called The Invitation. If you haven't heard about this movie came and went really fast. It premiered, I believe, last year at last year's South by Southwest, not this year's South by Southwest. What's the plot? So the guy who played Noomi Rapace's husband in Prometheus, I forgot his name. It's like Logan something. Let me look it up right now. But as I'm talking, slowly, Logan Marshall Green. So him and his new girlfriend, they get an invitation from his ex-wife, who's now has a husband. So they go back to his old house that he used to own. And in that, she hosts a dinner party. And in that moment, they realize that some things may not be going the right route. I mean, they have questions. They have, doubts. There's paranoia about it. There's levity that is brought up in some situations to keep the movie going along or the plot structure going along. And I feel like directed-wise, it's shot beautifully. It's really well made. But the real strength is the writers. Because 80 minutes of this movie, it's a 100-minute movie, but 80 minutes of this movie relies on the writing. This is one of those rare movies that the writing over trumps everything. Because sometimes I feel like the script here is really sharp and really intense. But again, we've seen this movie 1,000 times. If you've seen Coherence, which is a science fiction film, kind of the same idea, where people are trapped inside of a house where they have to find out what's going on the outside. But in here, they find out what's on the inside. Now, that being said, though, there are many films about this type of style. If you remember back in 2011, there was a film, or 2012, I believe there's a film called It's a Disaster, which has a bunch of comedians. David Cross is also in it. And it's about these group of friends who are experiencing the end of the world. And there's very jokes. It's very funny. It doesn't have a lot of direction style to it, but it's all in the writing. This is kind of the horror aspect of that. Because these films, they either go one route or they go the other route. And you honestly can tell. I don't want to say it's predictable, because there's many movies where you can predict beginning to end. I kind of didn't expect most of the things that are in this movie. It is very stylized because it's at nighttime. And you get to see parts of the house that are really shot beautifully. And they are timid with darkness for the intention. So you don't know what's going on in the background. You're mainly focused on the characters. That's a good strategy for a director. My problem, though, with the film is what I have problems with a lot of films. And that is, that idea that turning a genre on its head is somehow, a revolution type of it. You know what? Because this movie is just, it is what it is. I mean, it's not a home invasion movie. It's nothing like that. It does turn the tables a little bit. But it doesn't go to that extra route, though. It is plain, to be honest. It's not a horror film. I wasn't scared. I was thrilled a little bit. But you can see, I haven't seen it yet, but you can tell when a movie does something like this, they go that extra route. Like Green Room is coming out next week. And I can't wait to see Green Room, because the same director did Blue Ruin. And again, there are some directors who can do that type of genre and flip it on its head. Because Blue Ruin is a revenge movie. But it's not your average revenge movie, because it has very different amounts of strategy and technique to it. This is a little bit of the same of what I just said. It's coherence, you can kind of tell where it's going. It's a disaster. This is the end is even kind of in that same vein. Because it has the same idea of people trapped inside of a house. They're going to talk about things. Things are going to get brought up. And they either work or they don't. And there are some characters in here who don't fit that, constructive narrative, because I'm just going to blurt out a word, or I'm just going to blurt out, a sentence that's going to carry on the rest of the scene. And that's how you're supposed to have, because there's a scene in here where, the main character, Logan Marshall Green, he brings up the past. And it's hinted at a little bit. And then it's not followed up until the very end. And I get that that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be drawn out. Because they don't know how to connect A to B. If you have a great, structure to it, where A is connecting to B with again, like I said, good writing, yeah. But I feel like some of that stuff in the middle is missed, because they don't have a lot of to it. It doesn't add a lot of punch. And that's the problem with a lot of films, is they hint at a secret in the beginning, like, oh, what's going on behind door number 1, and then they don't follow it up until like 30 to 40 minutes into the movie, and then you forget about it, what's behind door number 1, because you're asking every other question, and then they bring it up as a big reveal. I feel like that happens, I believe, 2 times, because one deals with a kid and one deals with a, well, I don't want to spoil it, but one happens with the reason why they are there. That being said, though, this is a very fun movie. I like it a lot. It's perfectly fine. What do I give it? I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It is a very good movie. I do like it a lot. Nevertheless, though, like I said, I give it a 7.5. Perfectly fine movie. Rent it. It's a pretty good movie. It is a good movie, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm never gonna watch it again. I'm gonna forget about it, and it's a perfectly fine movie. There you go, people. My name is Aquarius. Thank you so much for watching. Click the like button, subscribe, leave comments down below. Am I an idiot? Do I because I like slow burn thrillers. I never feel like they connect the dots in the way I kind of want to, because in thrillers you have to you can't have like all these all these dividing things. And that's the problem with the ensemble cast. And sometimes people do feel like when they die, you forget about them, and there's nothing really in the beginning for you to like latch onto them. You basically only care about like 2 people. I would say 2 people you would actually do care about, and yeah, so it's perfectly fine. Have a good time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dave Quest. Peace out. Thank you.